Pasta with foie gras, shallots, and mushrooms. Yeah, I thought you might want to make that. There is no better way to enjoy foie gras. Get on this. And if you're not a foie person, there's a link in the recipe for a great resource that sells foie gras bits and bobs, so you don't have to spend a fortune to make this dish. I know what you're saying to yourself. That pasta looks too fancy, too awesome, too amazing, but you can do it. It's one of the easiest techniques that I could ever hope to show you. All you need is good homemade chicken broth. Other than that, everything else you can buy, and the immersion wand does all the work. Okay, so we're gonna make the pasta. All you need to do is take 4 cups of homemade poultry broth. I happen to prefer chicken. Rich, beautiful homemade poultry broth. The kind that when it's refrigerated is almost like aspic. It's jellyish. I reduced that to about a cup, and I happen to have that right here. Oh my gosh. I mean, just this alone glazing pasta, that is some beautiful, I mean, we're not approaching demi-glace. I mean, maybe if I reduced it, I'd get a couple tablespoons, but it is gonna reduce in the pan with some sauteed mushrooms, some sauteed shallots, some thyme, and some quatre épices, which is the French word for 4 spices: nutmeg, white pepper, ginger, and clove. And then using a blending stick, an immersion wand, I'm going to take 1/4 of this, 3 to 4 ounces. This is a pound of foie gras ends. And I'm going to cube this and drop it in, and like butter, I'm just going to emulsify that into the sauce. And that is it. A rich, gorgeous way to utilize foie gras. And Michael White taught me how to do this, one of the great chefs of his or any generation, and I am forever grateful. Here's how we're gonna do it. Let's get going. I have a pan preheating on medium. I'm gonna add a tablespoon or 2 of oil, and I'm going to add a tablespoon of butter. And that's going to get pretty darn hot right away. Add my shallots and my mushrooms. I've got 2 chopped shallots there. I've got about 5-6 ounces of mushrooms. And I'm just gonna let those sweat over medium heat until they begin to brown. And then I'm going to add my broth, and then we're gonna start emulsifying. Well, and some cream, and we'll start emulsifying. So we've been sauteing nice and patiently, medium heat. Some of the mushrooms are starting to brown. The edges of the shallots are starting to brown, but I really want it a little darker before I add my broth, because when I buzz this, I want that caramelized shallot and mushroom flavor to really be locked into that sauce. All right. Well, now it has the aroma and the color that I'm looking for. The shallots are caramelized. Look at the color on that mushroom. That's what we're looking for. I've got my quatre épices along with my thyme and a little bit of black pepper. Put that down in there, just a pinch of each one. And I'm just going to give that a quick saute. Those spices are traditionally associated with making a terrine of foie gras, and I just let them cook for a second, and then I'm going to add my Madeira. You can add sherry or Madeira. Added a few tablespoons of Madeira there. Goes beautifully with the mushrooms. Let that cook. Let that Madeira reduce, not to a glaze, but I just want to get it down there a little bit. We want that alcohol to burn off, and we want a lot of that woodsy Madeira flavor to mingle with the mushrooms, the shallots, and the seasonings. And if we add the stock now too quickly, we won't have cooked Madeira flavor. We're gonna have raw Madeira flavor kind of locked in there. And I can see the Madeira is reduced enough. And in goes my cup of very much reduced chicken broth. Remember, I reduced that from 4 cups to 1 cup. So it's nice and strong. And now I'm gonna simmer this until it's about halfway reduced. Probably have 10 ounces of liquid in there, and I wanna reduce it to 5. Now, I made one mistake here, and it's a common one. I started sauteing in my favorite little pan, but my immersion wand is gonna spray liver all over the sauce, all over that. I really need to be pureeing this in a pan that has higher sides. I'm just going into this saute pan here, and we'll keep cooking. So we've reduced. Time to add a little bit of cream. 2 to 3 tablespoons. And that just stabilizes the emulsion, because we are going to emulsify fat in the form of foie gras into that broth. And what will assist in that emulsion are 2 things. One, a little bit of salty pasta water, starchy salty pasta water, and some simmered cream. Just let that go. We can see it just comes back almost instantly to a simmer. We're gonna cook that for a couple minutes, cook our pasta, and start emulsifying our sauce. Now for pasta, I love rigatoni for this. I also love this beautiful shape from Faella, which is a, what do they call this? A calamaretto or something like that. It's a big, or maybe this is paccheri. I dumped it into a plastic bag. No, these are paccheri, right? So we're gonna throw that into our boiling water, well seasoned. It takes about 10 minutes for those to cook. So if I need to, I might turn this off. We're almost at the right texture here. I mean, just this alone, I mean, you want to talk about a sauce for pasta, great. But if you reduce this a little bit more until it coated the back of the spoon, what a fantastic sauce this is all on its own for sauteed chicken, duck, beef, lamb, venison, you name it. All right, my sauce is ready to have the liver emulsified into it, the foie gras. But my pasta is still 4 or 5 minutes away. So I'm just gonna turn the heat off on this sauce. You can see that the cream is thickened and it's just almost sauce consistency. Almost, not quite. That's exactly where you want it to be. I just brought the sauce back a little bit. I'm adding in a few tablespoons of pasta water. I'm adding in a few tablespoons of grated Parmesan cheese. And I'm just gonna tilt this down. Start chomping up those mushrooms. I just want them to be like duxelles. And I'm going to add that foie gras raw. And I tilt the pan, not the immersion wand. Look at that beautiful sauce. Absolutely perfect. So now we move back to the stoves. We're going to put our pasta in there to finish cooking. Pasta goes in. We have a beautiful, perfect cook on those giant paccheri. And obviously, the most important thing that we do right now, taste our sauce. A little bit of salt. Needs just a touch of acid. And I mean, I am just putting in a few drops of sherry wine vinegar. A few grinds of pepper. Yum. That is pasta perfection. Okay, let the heat and that acid blend up. Look at that texture. A lot of that is the pureed shallot and mushroom. You don't even know the vinegar was in there, but just those few little drops make it absolutely perfect. Let's plate. This pasta is rich. So you don't need tons and tons. You want to make sure you have some nice crusty bread to serve with this. And you know, you want to put some chives or some parsley on this. I'm not going to stop you. It's, you know, it's not like that belongs on everything. But I'll tell you what is really great. Pass some parm at the table for those that want it, but a little bit of texture, some crunchy breadcrumbs. These are some herb and lemon breadcrumbs. And if that isn't your idea of pasta deliciousness, well, I can't help you. I thought you might want to make that. I mean, look, I love foie gras. I love liver. But man, oh man, the subtle taste of that foie, pureed with the mushrooms and Madeira, and a little bit of that rich broth, that is a gorgeous way to enjoy the ends and the trim for which there is often not a use. Enjoy.